I ask that all of us please stand to our feet as we ask a member of the Christian community to lead us into prayer.
Hear from our district representative, which we think is a good thing. And we now about to commit this occasion in the hands of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Let's pray. Father, we thank you. We thank you for this movement. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity you have given us to be a part of what we are doing in this district. We are grateful for the strength to stay here and the mind to understand. Lord, give me the wisdom as you speak to his people. We bless you in Jesus' name.
All right, please be seated. I want to appreciate Reverend Challenge and that beautiful and blessed prayer offered by him. All right, so we're going quickly with our next item because we have no time to be wasted. The next item is the welcome remark. This will be done by Ivar Fiscal.
To firstly recognize the presence of God Almighty, who gave all of us the strength to be here today, and a special recognition to the district representative, President of and also our district council chairperson, our chiefs, our elders, our governors, our citizens, the religious community, the Muslim communities, the journalists, this year's presence, and all the radio stations that are also represented here to all this very important occasion. I'd like to read this video on behalf of the office of Honorable Ivar, who to say a very big welcome to all of you as citizens of District 2 for leaving your busy schedules and coming to listen to the report that your representative and voted and gave you the work to do. We say thank you for coming to be able to listen to you, and so we can tell you what it is on your behalf while you go for the resolution for the second session. Thank you, you are welcome. Please be the second item. You are welcome in Jesus' name.
We move on to our next item and it has to do with the introduction of this occasion. And it will be done by Mr. Darius Zina. Mr. Zina, you are welcome. Please put the hands together as
This gathering is a constitutional fulfillment that satisfies Article 15C of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria. It says, pursuant of this right, there shall be no limitation on the public right to be informed about the government and its functionaries. More than that, no parent is satisfied if he or she does not see the report card of your child after the academic year. Today's program is about submitting our report card to the people of District Number 2, Margibi County, for the second year at the legislature. You will listen to a full legislative report of your son, your brother, your grandchild, Representative Ivar Jones during the year for review. After a bit of remarks will be allowed when you are called. Thank you for your attention.
And so, as the spiritual juncture, kindly allow me to recognize people who are coming from far and near, and even our own citizen of District 2, Margibi County, once we give you a high supervision, especially for our teachers, principals, and then not forgetting about the food estate. As a matter of fact, this program is being called by KNP, Liberia, is being called by ERBC, the Liberia Black Council of Vision, is carrying this program, and also we have a report from FM, our own friend and brother, and Gosling Kamasai is here, and not forgetting about the voice of Fiscal, Obi who is here, that is headed by our own sister and brother, Tamata Thomas, and then the guy from Radio Margibi, they are here, and the team is being headed by the manager, Boris is here, and also Radio Passion, the team is headed by Ransom Cindy, and also Radio Kakata is airing this program live, and then you have people from Front Page Africa, and then Front FM, and so to the full experts. Thank you so much for taking up your time to be part of this coverage. Honorable Ivar Jones, District 2 representative as a present his final report for the closing of the
Thank you. I must first give thanks to the Almighty God for His grace and opportunity upon our life today to converge as a people in the second annual report of my office. Let me extend thanks and appreciation to all of us who have made our way here to pay history of this day. Today marks the second legislative report of my office, and it covers from January 1st to December 31st, 2019. Superintendent of Oversight District, District number 2, Development Council Chairperson, Reverend Jai, platform guests, citizens from District 2 and Margibi County at large. We want to deeply express our gratitude and hereby submit to you our annual report covering activities during the second sitting of the 54th National Legislature. This report covers the period 2019. This report is in fulfillment of Article 15C of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, which states, which I am on oath to protect and defend. Therefore, I am honored on this 11th day of January 2020 to fulfill the organic law of our country. So help me God. God bless you. Let me thank the Almighty God and my office staffs for successfully compiling and producing this report covering my second year activities as your representative. I want to emphatically state that this effort does not only bring pride to me, but engenders the hope and conviction that the mandate given me by the citizens of District 2 Margibi County is alive and on the right trajectory. My office also vows overwhelmingly gratitude. My office also owes overwhelming gratitude to all members of the Development Council and Collaborative Administrative, the affairs of the district as per its funding mandate. Thanks to Reverend Joseph T. Charlie and heads of committees for keeping the council functional. This effort is providing the office, their effort in providing the office with all vital information for the preparation of this report is invaluable. Finally, we thank those of our citizens, supporters, critics for their contribution in whatever way in bringing us this far. This piece of document is a legislative report of the office of Ivar Jones, Representative District 2, Margibi County. It covers activities for the second sitting of the 54th legislature. It discloses duty activities and provides summary of laws and other legislative instruments enacted during the sitting, and captures my performance in the three statutory legislative functions: lawmaking, representation, and oversight. This report also expands on my contribution to education, health, infrastructure, sport, security, humanity, among others, in the district and Margibi County. In compliance with Article 15C of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia, I want to reaffirm my statement made last year that this report will be made on an annual basis by my office. This reaffirmation is in compliance with our Constitution, which is the embodiment of the principle of good governance for the governed and strengthening of every democratic nation, and strength of every democratic nation. This report is open to genuine and constructive comments, criticism, petition, etc. Because a participatory representation is what we promise and believe will make our democracy strong. The essence of this legislative report is to keep you well informed of activities at the closure of every legislative sitting. This is an obligation in keeping with Article 15C of the Liberian Constitution, which states, in pursuit of the right, there shall be no limitation on the public's right to be informed about the governance and its functionaries. As the inflexible fact remains that you are our employer, we have to demonstrate good conduct, such as selflessness, justice, fairness, and honesty in the discharge of our duty. Understanding the convolution of these characteristics, we are expected to be as transparent as possible related to the decision we made on your behalf. This is a paradigm of good governance for the governed and the governors. This report intends to do just that. It discloses our activities at the 54th This report intends to do just that. It discloses our activities at the 54th legislature, second sitting, as it relates to our statutory responsibility. It also entrenched with information of our personal interaction with citizens and institutions in the district and beyond. Activity at the legislature, lawmaking. For the governance of a state and its people, lawmaking as a function of the legislature is debating or deliberating process of making new laws, amendment, or obliteration of antiquated laws, and ratifying agreement or treaties in the chambers of the legislature during the legislative sitting. The sitting of the legislature of the Republic of Liberia commences on the second working Monday and ends August of each year, as stated in Article 32 of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Any sitting of the legislature beyond August is called extension, special, or extraordinary section. Fellow citizens, during the second sitting of the 54th legislature, the House of Representatives had a total of 98 sections, which are inclusive of regular and special or extraordinary, out of which I attended 78. During this section, there were 58 legislative instruments passed. Key to mention are as follows: the national budget of 2019-2020, proposition for referendum to amend sections, includes Article 28, 45, 46, 48, 49, and 50 of the 1986 Liberian Constitution. The resolution to print 4 billion Liberian dollars. Proclamation of a special section. The national budget of 2019-2020. Fellow citizens, I am pleased to inform you that the national budget for fiscal year 2019-2020 was passed by the legislature in a sum of $526 million US, which is equivalent to 110 billion 460 million Liberian dollars, and signed into law by the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Manavia. The passage of the 2019-2020 fiscal budget was a test of time for the 54th legislature. Section 12.1 of the Public Financial Management Act of Liberia states that the President shall submit the proposed budget and accompanying documents to the legislature not later than 2 months before the start of the fiscal year. That is, the budget should be submitted to the legislature no later than April 30. The fiscal year of Liberia runs from July 1st to June 30. There was delay in the submission of 2019-2020 draft budget that subsequently led to the delay in its passage. The reason was due to the harmonization of salaries of government employees. Nevertheless, the 2019-2020 fiscal budget was submitted on June 26, 2019, passed by the legislature on October 1st, 2019, and signed by the President on October 27, 2019. The budget is a financial forecast of government's operation of the country for a particular period. In this 2019-2020 financial period, an appropriation of $200,000 United States as county development funds and $56,000 United States as Firestone land rental fee, totaling $256,000 was made to Margibi County. Other appropriations made are habitations, $564,926 United States. Tolostown Health Center, $35,000 United States. Proposition for referendum to amend section Article 28, 45, 46, 48, 49, and 50 of the 1986 Liberian Constitution. There are several articles of the 1986 Constitution that the legislature amended and passed for the upcoming referendum. Among them are Article 28, dual citizenship for Liberians. Article 45, reduction of tenure of members of the Senate. Article 46, reduction of tenure of members of the Senate to 7 years. Article 47, reduction and tenure of the Senate pro tempore to 5 years. Article 47, election and tenure of the Senate pro tempore to 5 years. Article 48, reduction of the tenure of members of the House of Representatives to 5 years. Article 49, election and tenure of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker to 5 years. Article 50, reduction of the tenure of the President and Vice President to 5 years. The resolution to print $4 billion. In keeping with Article 34D2 of the Constitution of Liberia, the Central Bank of Liberia, as a monetary regulator, wrote through the President's office requesting legislative authorization for the printing of new family of 35 billion Liberian dollars banknote. At the conclusion of the legislature's second sitting, the House of Representatives passed a resolution to give approval of 30 billion, but was not concurred with by the Senate, thus giving rise to the second request for the printing of additional $4 billion Liberian dollars banknote during the extraordinary section. Proclamation of a special section. Fellow citizens, as you may be aware, the legislature closes in August of every year and resumes work the second working Monday of the succeeding year. This year, 2019, that August body closed August due to other trending national issues as stated earlier, which needed to be addressed before closing. Notwithstanding, Article 32D of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia which provides that the President shall, on his own initiative or upon receipt of a certificate signed by at least 1/4 of the total members of each house, by proclamation, extend a regular section of the legislature beyond the date for adjournment, or call a special or extraordinary section of the body to discuss or act upon materials of national emergency and concern. The President, at his own volition, called for a special session to act upon some pertinent national issues. Cardinal among them to mention include the confirmation hearing of the executive governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, the finalization of deliberation on authorization to the Central Bank to print a new set of Liberian dollars banknote, consideration of agreement of economic nature and passed on financial and other instruments pending before the legislature. My fellow compatriots, during a series of exhaustive deliberation, the following issues were acted upon. The executive governor of the Central Bank of Liberia was confirmed a prerogative which is so vested in the Liberian Senate by the Constitution and was carried out by that August body. Both houses approved and authorized the Central Bank of Liberia to print additional 4 billion Liberian dollars banknote. Loan agreement, upgrading of the Konya-Fonderman Road project between the Republic of Liberia and Kuwait funds, for Arab economic development, passed by the House of Representatives and sent to the Senate for concurrence, and an act prohibiting the tenure of public officials within the executive branch of government, passed by the House of Representatives and sent to the Senate for concurrence. My move to vote for bills, as well as affix my signature to resolution, is all intended to move our country in the positive direction. And among those decisions is the legislative And among those decisions is the legislative authorization for the printing of additional 4 billion Liberian dollars. My decision was triggered after a careful look at our economy, coupled with consultations with the central bank, financial experts, and our international partners. And more besides, as a member of the House's Committee on Banking and Currency, there were several recommendations which plenary accepted and transmitted to the central bank to be considered before finalizing the printing of the additional banknote. Representation. My fellow citizens, legislative representation which involves standing, debating, and voting for the wishes and interests of the people is a continuous duty of hope aimed at advocating on your behalf, ensuring that your interest is put forth for consideration during decision making. In performing this magnanimous call to duty, I have played a vital role in decision reach for the common good of us all. Special county setting. Fellow citizens, as per the letter in our possession, dated Friday, February 15, 2019, General Union wrote the government of Liberia through the finance ministry that she was prepared to make a contribution of $4 million in lieu of the unpaid $10,500,000 social development contribution for the period 2016, 2017, and 2018. The company claimed in her communication that during the period under review, she did not operate and did not earn profit, and is therefore seeking waiver of the balance $6,500,000. The company in her communication to central government said due to the Ebola epidemic of 2015, coupled with the concurrent drop in the price of iron ore globally, she had to slow down and subsequently stop all mining operations in Liberia. Accordingly, this led to her inability to earn anticipated income and meet her obligation as stipulated in the Mineral Development Agreement. The Minister of Finance immediately informed the counties concerned through their respective authorities, the caucuses and superintendents. My position was that as a caucus, we do not have waiver right on money owed the county, and that we needed to consult you as a way forward, a position which was supported by a majority of my colleagues. Consequently, in compliance with count 4 of the resolution from the 2018-2019 November 14 county setting, we state that any other issue arising from the county while this resolution is already in implementation should be handled with urgency in a joint setting of the county administration, county caucus, and heads of delegate present to the county council setting. Such urgency should be communicated into an interim resolution to the county superintendent for implementation as if it had been adopted by this city. On March 13, 2019, an emergency sitting of delegates representing the 5 electoral districts was convened was convened in Kagatan, at which time a resolution was reached and signed authorizing the county authority to join the other counties, Maserati and Bond, to accept the proposal from China Union to pay the $4 million United States, of which Margibi County share is 25%, constituting $1 million United States. Owing to the urgency government attached to this issue, and upon receipt of the March 13, 2019 resolution from the citizen, a special county sitting with delegates from the 5 electoral districts was held on June 13, 2019 at the Capitol building. From that setting, a resolution was signed by delegates to the setting and approved by 6 caucus members, authorizing the superintendent to ensure that the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning transfer the $1 billion into the social and county development account of Margibi. Some of the same reasons that led to the invocation on count 4 of November 14, 2018 resolution enabling the June 13, 2019 sitting haunted the county in the need that government was facing constraint. In this vein, the government through the Ministry of Finance transferred $750,000 to Margibi's account instead of $1 million. Below is the appropriation made on the $1 million in the resolution reached and submitted to Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. In the June 13, 2019 special county sitting resolution, the following allocations were made. That a special allocation of 5% of the $1 million United States constituting $50,000 United States be made to the most affected communities where the money activities are taking place for projects that will enhance the recurrence of the lives of the residents and any other damage the money may cause to their livelihood. That the balance $950,000 be appropriated as follows: 11.37% constituting $108,000 United States goes to projects overhead, of which $57,000 United States for PMC operation, $38,000 United States for county administration operations, $8,000 United States for both territory districts, and $5,000 United States for media support, and the balance of $842,000 United States be allocated to the 5 electoral districts of the county in the amount of $168,400 United States per district. This amount will be used for projects and program implementation, of which 15% totaling $25,260 United States will go for scholarship programs, 5% constituting $8,420, $20 United States goes for disaster management program, and the balance 80% constituting $134,720 goes for projects in the districts. My fellow citizens, the $30,000 appropriated from the 2018-2019 fiscal year county setting for the pavement of Unification Town Road was not received. Therefore, the delegates to the June 13, 2019 special county setting for the China Union Social Development Fund saw it prudent to bring forward the Unification Town Road pavement project as a beginning need, followed by the construction of a footpath bridge to connect Unification Town and Doylestown over Ben River, and 4-class road annex for Charleville Public School as mentioned below. Projects, location, amount, pavement, road pavement, Unification Town, $30,000, bridge construction, SNT to Doylestown, $69,720, school building construction, 4-class road, Charleville, $35,000, total $134,720. Instead of the $1 million, the Ministry of Finance gave $750,000. The table below reflects the actual allotment. Project, location, amount, road pavement, Unification Town, $22,500. Scholarship per district, District 2, $18,295. Disaster management per district, District 2, $6,315. Bridge construction, SNT to Doylestown, $52,290. School building construction, Charleville, $26,250. Total $125,650. Ladies and gentlemen, while waiting for implementation to commence on this project, some of our citizens, headed by Senator Oscar A. Cooper, felt discontent with the processes that led to the appropriation of the $1 million from China Union Social Development Fund, and therefore filed a writ of prohibition at the Supreme Court on the 20th of August 2019. The county, through the Superintendent's Office and all other members of the Legislative Caucus, received a writ prohibiting the process. In their petition for a writ of prohibition, they have held, among other things, that the budget law was violated because the June 13, 2019 special county sitting was held outside the capital of the county and there was no equal participation of the delegates. Upon receipt of the petition, we maintain that we were not in wrong. We were not in the wrong on the processes based on control of the November 14, 2018-2019 county sitting resolution, authorizing us to do what we did. Based on our reliance, we filed in our returns at the Supreme Court. However, consensus was built among the leaders that the matter be settled in the county, which led to the withdrawal of the matter. As part of the settlement of the matter, the General Union Social Development Fund and the 2019-2020 appropriation were discussed during the 2019 2020 county sitting, but separately. Fellow citizens, prior to convening the 2019-2020 county sitting, we assembled as a district in our district sitting on November 9, 2019 in Dolostan, at which time you supported and by affirming the decision on June 13, 2019. In so doing, all development items as per the June 13, 2019 resolution were retained, and an inclusion of $10,000 United States to each senator was made. Below is a resolution from the 2019-2020 county sitting addressing allotment of the $750,000 United States. The allotment year in, the amount of $750,000 United States be spent on projects, overhead, and development priority across the 5 electoral districts as a portion below. That is special allotment of $35,000 United States, constituting 5% of the total social development fund of $750,000 be made to the most affected communities where the mining activities are taking place for projects that will enhance the recovery of their lives, of their residents, and any other damage the mining activity may cause to their livelihood. That the balance $712,500 United States of the said social development fund be apportioned as follows: $42,700 United States goes to Project Management Committee for project supervision. $28,500 goes to the county administration for overhead. $91,475 United States. Excuse me. $91,475 United States for scholarship program. $31,575 for disaster management. $5,000 United States for media buses in Margibi County. $8,000 for both sanitary district for overhead, and the balance of $42,700 be evenly apportioned to the 5 electoral districts for projects that were resolute in the respective district sitting in the amount of $101,040 United States. Fiscal land rental fee. Fellow citizens, as you may recall, in the 2018-2019 fiscal budget, $25,000 United States was appropriated for Margibi as Fiscal land rental fee instead of $160,800 United States of the $237,000 $980 United for Margibi and Masurado. This situation drew my attention and prompted me to communicate to Plenary in a letter dated August 26, 2019. During the 2019-2020 fiscal budget discussion, craving the indulgence of Plenary to mandate the budget committee to make full appropriation of the $160,800 United and $79,200 United to Margibi and Masurado County respectively, as provided by law. Plenary immediately sent the communication to the committee for action. As a result, little increment was made in the tune of $56,000 in the 2019-2020 fiscal budget. We have to work with this because government keep informing the Liberian people that there is no money. Let me thank Plenary for the increment, but much more needs to be done in this direction. Be assured, fellow citizens, that we maintain our position in this advocacy. Be thereful, as we get to the next budget discussion, I will work along with my colleagues until we reach the benchmark of the full appropriation. Upon my visit to the United States of America, fellow citizens of District 2, let me inform you that during the year under review, I was invited to the United States of America by some Margibians named Association of Firestone Residents in the Americas to serve as installing officer of new code of official elect of the organization. According to the executive of AFIRA, my selection was based upon my service rendered the people of District 2, Margibi County, and Liberia at large. Let me clarify that this group is not associated with the management of Firestone Liberia, but rather made of individuals who may or whose parents work for Firestone and now reside in the United States of America. They put themselves together under the umbrella organization headed by Ms. Elizabeth Gallo as a chairperson of the board and Mr. Arthur Wewen as president. Under their stewardship, AFIRA has resolved to erect a modern library in our district, which is expected to kick off in February of this year, according to their plan. My fellow citizens, during my short stay in the United States of America, I was honored for my outstanding leadership in recognition of the dedication and services rendered the people of District 2 in a colorful ceremony by the group. We also made new friends in the interest of the job we were elected to do. Fellow citizens, the trip was successful. We intend to continue the relationship established with AFIRA for the benefit of our beloved district. Additionally, during our visit to the United States of America, we engaged Mr. Leon Rwanda, President, International Medical Project, relative to challenges face our health sector in the district. As a result of the discussion, Mr. Rwanda committed himself to soliciting his organization's support to our health sector in the district. As I report today, a consignment of medical supplies. As I report today, a consignment of medical supplies loaded on a 40-foot container is expected to arrive in the country not later than February this year. My office has made an initial payment of $5,800 United States as transportation for the container from the United States of America to the people of Monrovia. We were also blessed to receive a consignment of textbooks, instructional material, and other assorted material from Ms. Jennifer Tuckman on behalf of the people of District 2, Margibi County. Thanks to Mr. Buster D. Jones and Mr. Simeon Seaforth, who package and ship said material at their own expense. Oversight. Under our legislative authority, particularly oversight, legislators exercise checks and balances and ensure full compliance of government policies, laws, and programs. I consider this responsibility as the engine of my work as a legislator, and in so doing, I have made frantic intervention in matters in this regard on behalf of citizens, our district, county, and country at large. Some of these matters were resolved and some stay pending for conclusion. Distinguished citizens, my office strong stance and intense intervention in matters in the discharge of my oversight during my first year in office have called most of the entities in our district to order as it relates to bad legal practices, among others. Rest assured that with your support, we will get there. Notwithstanding, in the second year, my office received some concerns, but at a lower scale, of which we made intervention. Among them are 39 dismissed workers of MBR, 39 dismissed workers of Nation Builder International on December 1st, 2018, officially informed my office on the failure of the company to adhere to a ruling of settlement from the Labor Commissioner for wrongful dismissal after an investigation into the matter, craving my intervention. Upon receipt of the communication, my office acted promptly by inviting both parties to a series of conferences, and conclusion of the matter is pending. Fiscal Liberia proposed education policy for 2019-2020. On December 19, 2018, my office received a communication from the Firestone Agricultural Workers Union, FAU, drawing my attention to several memos and announcements published by Firestone Management, which include announcement for fee payment by employees' dependents. The announcement indicated that as of September 2019 academic year, the Firestone Management will deduct from salary of each employee who dependents attends the Firestone Liberal School System the amount of 15, 20, and 25 United States dollars per student. After a clear review of the announcement, a meeting was held with the management in which I reminded Firestone Management of a 2018 agreement with the government of Liberia calling for free education for employees' dependents. At the climax of the meeting, Firestone Management reconsidered our decision of collecting fees from students. Firestone Liberia retirement pension policy. In separate memos to current and former employees of Firestone, management communicated our new retirement and pension policies in that our retirees will be turned over to NASCO. Because of the sensitive nature of this matter, it played a major part of the January 11, 2019 meeting. Management admitted to ongoing discussion between NASCO and justified that its decision is inconsistent with the Decent Work Act of 2015 and the February 13, 2017 revised Act of NASCO. After the discussion with Firestone Management, my office on January 21, 2019 wrote the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation, NASCO, seeking clarity on the matter since indeed Firestone will be shifting the burden of settling retirees and pension benefits to NASCO as of March 1, 2019. In response to my January 21, 2019 communication, in a letter dated February 4, 2019, NASCO acknowledged ongoing negotiation with Firestone for the transfer of the administration of its retirement and pension benefit program. Was stated no legal document has been concluded between the two institutions. And when finalization are concluded, NASCO will administer the program. In furtherance, my office wrote the Ministers of Justice and Labor in separate communication dated February 12, 2019, requesting their intervention, requesting their interpretation of Firestone Reliance, Chapter 22.1, 22.2, 22.3, and 22.6 of the Decent Work Act, and also crave their timely intervention, and that if nothing was done to handle the issue, this could degenerate into a potential problem. As a result of this separate communication, the Justice Minister invited all parties concerned to a meeting on March 6, 2019, and in attendance were Mr. Turner, General Manager, and other officials of Firestone Liberia. Honorable Moses Colley, Labor Minister, the Managing Director of NASCO, Mr. Jacob B. Kepula, the union representative, Mr. Fred Rabo, the retiree representative, and me, Abake Jones. The presiding, Minister Dean, asked both Firestone and NASCO as to whether there was any negotiation ongoing between the two institutions on the transfer of retiree and pension benefit to NASCO. The both institutions answered in affirmative, but stated that there has been no legal document concluded. This response generated a follow-up question from the minister that if this is the case, then while Firestone Bureau has started implementing its December 17, 2019 memo, Firestone Bureau responded by saying, upon the passage of the Decent Work Act, Firestone Legal Department advised management to transfer retirees and pensioners to NASCO, and which the management announced to its worker in 2016 and has decided to implement a decision in 2019 as indicated in the memo. But one thing that was made clear in the meeting is that Firestone and NASCO has not finalized documentation of retirements or retirees benefit transfer, and that the process will last up to October 2019. Under our jurisprudence, law are now retroactive, and considering that both management have not finalized a major documentation that will affect the lives of thousands of Liberians, triggered my communication to the House of Representatives, praying plenary to invite Firestone Liberia to give reason for its decision to implementing its March 5, 2019 memo. But the retired worker leadership decided to use the legal means which is acceptable under the 1986 Constitution of Liberia. The retired workers filed a complaint against the management of Firestone to the Circuit Court in Kagata. This matter was heard, and from some of the retired workers, I am told that the Circuit Court in Kagata ruled in favor of the retired workers, but Firestone took an appeal at the Supreme Court. As I report to you today, the matter is pending before the Honorable Supreme Court for its opinion. Firestone Liberia versus terminated workers of Division 35. Division 35 is outside District 2, but is part of Margibi County. I have followed and decided to make an intervention into the claim by the management of Firestone against some employees at Division 35 about them, allegedly destroying the company properties that subsequently led to their dismissal. Though the matter is in court, my office is in discussion with Firestone management to find an alternative solution. Trenches dug by Firestone management. Prior to my sentencing in January 2018, resident of Cotton Tree community complained that Firestone management action of digging trenches on road being used by them impedes their movement. As an age-old problem, which resurfaced in 2019, my office led my office to engage the management, requesting an alternative corridor for the affected communities or residents. Fellow citizens, thanks to Firestone for accepting our request, and today the company has provided an alternative route for the affected community by constructing a road from New Sugar Hill to Congotown community in Cotton Tree. President requests to Firestone for street lights. Several discussions on erecting street lights in Cotton Tree and Parkway Farm community has been held between my office and Firestone Liberia. This discussion are still ongoing. Request to Firestone for road rehabilitation in the district. My office met and subsequently both Firestone management requesting our intervention in the rehabilitation of roads in Parkway Farm, Cotton Tree, Peterstown, Dolostown, Unification Town, and Charlesville communities. There are ongoing discussions regarding this request. Let me be emphatic that we will leave no stone unturned. We are calling on all institutions, be it government or private, to take note of their social corporate responsibility to the district and citizens. District activities, reconciliation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have and continue to apply every effort in maintaining the reconciliation the district enjoys. Our secret are obeying the Constitution, the provision of equal opportunity to citizens, being fully accountable and transparent to citizens, and treat everyone with respect. Though it has not been easy to reach this far, but we will get there by the help of the Almighty God.
Thank God.
Meanwhile, in fulfillment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommendations, which calls for erection of monument on mass grave of citizens massacred during the 14-year civil war in our country, my office was officially asked by the Commission to intervene in securing 2 lots of land at Carter's Camp. Thanks to Firestone for honoring the request of the Commission. We expect work is expected soon. Fellow citizens, in retrospection of Carter's Camp massacre and the expected monument to be built, let the district be seen as a place of reconciliation, and never again should our political, cultural, or religious diversity divide us or result into any act of violence. Therefore, peace first, peace last. Education. My fellow citizens, our desire to see our youthful population, human resource capacity being developed at the highest level is demonstrated through our interaction with schools and students in the district. During the period under review, I paid several assessment visits to schools in response to the outcry of shortage of chairs. The challenges faced by these schools, which are not only common to the school in District 2, but schools across the country, are enormous. Lack of setting capacity, lack of instructional material, teachers not on government payroll, etc. As a theory of economics speaks about growing demand and wants, growing demand of needs and wants for scarce resources, I made a minimum intervention of 390 pieces of armchairs to public schools in the district. Schools that benefited and having much larger have 40 pieces, Chapel Public School 50 pieces, Carpentry Public School 50 pieces, Jolostown Public School 50 pieces, Snafford Gap Public School 50 pieces, ROI Public School 50 pieces, our Escafi Senior High School 50 pieces, and Peterstown Public School 50 pieces. The cost is put at $5,100 United States dollars. Fellow citizens, in this age and time, to see students carry chairs from their homes to school is counterproductive. Meanwhile, my office communicated to the Minister of Education, highlighting among other things the lack of armchairs in public schools and great the minister's timely intervention in allaying some of these challenges. We look forward for a fruitful result. In keeping with my philosophy, which states, plant corn when planting for a year, plant trees when planting for 10 years, train and educate men when planning for lifetime. My office has continued to support human capacity development through the provision of scholarship to students across District 2 and Margibi County for the past 3 academic years and current. Last academic year, 210 students benefited from our scholarship scheme, amounting to $1,050,555 United States dollars. As a report, my office has awarded a total of 125 scholarships to students in District 2 and around Margibi County for their high academic performance during academic year 2018-2019. These students will benefit a one-year scholarship from our office for the academic year 2019-2020. My office has made a full payment of $1,350,000 Liberian dollars for 109 students of the 125 students, planning the information sheet of the others. The scholarship, which ranges from nursery to university level, is on a merit basis. That is, the first and second doses of each school visited during closing ceremony are selected as beneficiaries. My fellow citizens, during the 2018-2019 academic year, my office received a concern that students which parents were affected by the redundancy of 13% of the workforce of Firestone Liberia was being put out of Firestone school system because their parents received $75 United States dollars to enroll in other schools. We contacted Firestone management. When contacted, Firestone management informed my office that the company is in a period of redundancy and closing down some of its divisions, and employees who are to be affected have to relocate along with their children. Therefore, a voluntary compensation plan was instituted. If any employee is affected as a result of being redundant, an optional pension package of $75 United States for each child is offered. Students who are pulled out of school and those whose parents have received the optional compensation package for relocation. Considering my quest to see many young people in school and being inspired by the positivity that education places on mankind, my colleague from District 1, Representative Tabaruza Estapue, and I sought an alternative solution in readmitting those students in order to successfully end the academic year. In this regard, we jointly communicated to Fiscal Liberia in a letter dated March 15, 2019, requesting management to allow the affected students In this regard, we jointly communicated to Fiscal Liberia in a letter dated May 15, 2019, requesting management to allow the affected students back in school to complete the necessary academic requirements and committed ourselves to fully settle full settlement of money received by parents from the company. In response, Fiscal management acknowledged receipt of our communication and accepted to do as we requested. The company promised to ensure proper attendance record of the affected students and inform their instructors to give them the lesson taught in their absence. The number of students affected were 603, which amounted to $45,300 United States for repayment. Fellow citizens, we intervene in this concern not to blatantly encourage employees or other citizens entering into agreement, enrichment or agreement and defaulting. Fellow citizens, we intervene in this concern not to blatantly encourage employees or other citizens entering into arrangement or agreement and defaulting, but for the sake of those children whose education sojourn were being jeopardized by the action of their parents. This intervention is a manifestation of our unwavering commitment to ensuring that human resource capacity are developed under our stewardship. As I report today, we want to thank the management of Fiscal Liberia in this public manner for granting our request to allow the children back in school and subsequently waiving the $45,300 United States following series of negotiations between management and our officers. Distinguished citizens of District 2, my office also made intervention ensuring that exuberant fee charged by the administration of Harvard College in contravention of the President's tuition-free policy at all colleges and universities was reversed. We had a friendly discussion with the administration of the college on the matter, and they were unanimous on reducing the fees. Fellow citizens, borrowing from Malcolm S. Watts, education is the only passport to success, has informed the county authorities' decision to reinstate the Margibi scholarship program for students in the tune of $91,475 from the China Union Social Development Fund during the 2019-2020 county sitting. Said amount was evenly distributed among the 5 electoral districts. $18,295 is allotted for District 2. Health. In the wake of financial constraints on citizens and challenges faced in the health sector, my office was able to make a minimal intervention in donation of drugs or some essential drugs to all clinics in the district. The cost is put at over $2,500. My office has been engaging national government. My office has been engaging national government for intervention on a large scale. Notwithstanding, I wrote plenary on February 6, 2018, seeking the indulgence of the House of Representatives to invite top officials of the Ministry of Health to state why there was shortage of essential medical drugs and other logistical material at various public health institutions across the country. A week after my communication, the Ministry of Health announced on the media that government has purchased over $2 million United States dollars worth of essential drugs and other logistical material, and were being supplied at various public health centers and institutions in the country. However, this situation is still a challenge. Infrastructure development. My citizens, as mentioned in last year's report, that construction of your district office was ongoing and will be completed in February of 2019. Our women elected and gratified to report to you today that the office is completed, turned over, and is being used for its intended purpose. Let it be noted that funding for the construction of the office came from the 50% of my salary and benefit remitted to the district. The 2 lots of land on which the office is built was personally purchased by me and registered in the name of the district. Let me echo that the 2 lots of land in the office are owned by District 2, Margibi County, not Ivar K. Jones, or any relatives of mine. Neither is it the property of anyone in the district. For the record, record, the 2 lots of land in district office are for the people of District 2, Margibi County. Remittance to the district. Fellow citizens, I am pleased to inform you that from January 2019 to November 2019, I remitted 32,143 United States dollars and 1,600,474 Liberian dollars as 50% of my salary and allowance from the legislature. In my 2018 annual report, which covered January to December, District 2. In my 2018 annual report, which covered January to December, District 2, through the District Council, received 37,870 United States dollars and 1,464,160 Liberian dollars. For the 2 years, I have served you as your representative from January 15, 2018 to December 30, 2019. The district has received the total of 70,013 United States dollars and 70,013 United States dollars and 3,064,634 Liberian dollars as 50% salary and allowance remitted to the district. Security. Fellow citizens, the erection of speed breakers at the Wild Junction Infant Medical 1 by the management of Firestone resulted to the death of a motorcyclist named Emmanuel Sani. This eventually ensued in a situation that degenerated into a demonstration by motorcyclists. My timely intervention managed the situation to a considerable level. Few arrests were made when action of some of the demonstrators were in violation of the law. My condolences to the family of Emmanuel Sano for their loss, but let it be made clear to all citizens that the best way to resolve any situation is a non-violent approach, and we will not support any action of violence. Measures were taken to lay the deceased to rest, and other matters surrounding the situation were resolved. Thanks to the Liberian National Police and other security apparatus for their support. My distinguished citizens, due to the increasing wave of crimes of criminal activities in the district, let me acknowledge calls from the citizens of Cotton Tree on my office to invite authorities of the Liberian National Police to a town hall meeting in carpentry for the establishment of community watch team across the district. The program was successful and needs were submitted by the community for police vetting and subsequently training. Humanity. I owe deep sense of gratitude to the religious communities for their persistent prayer and sacrifice on behalf of our leadership and for the sustenance of peace in the district and country at large. Fellow citizens, the humanity in us is being manifested in our action and work on a daily basis, and we hope to continue. I will not make any disclosure of gifts to organizations and individuals, but the records will speak one day. Update and outstanding activities from 2018. Distinguished citizens, a lot of plans were made for the year 2019, while some were initiated in 2018. Though it is true that we achieved some, others still remain a challenge due to lack of expected funds and unforeseen circumstances. To name few, unification town land. Ever a state being executed to change the squatter right status to legitimacy, but as an official meeting with the president has been an issue. Payment for the survey has been made, and my office awaits the readiness of the land, the Liberian Land Authority, and thereafter, the next step in this endeavor is the lifting of the moratorium by the president. We still have hope that we will achieve one day. 2018-2019 county sitting resolution. As part of the 2018-2019 county sitting resolution, the Unification Town Road Pavement received an allotment of $30,000 United States dollars out of the $232,666. But the county received only $100,000 United States dollars. In keeping with this resolution, $52,500 United States dollars was given to money exchanger for a month old during 2018-2019 county meeting. $12,500 United States dollars went to the project management committee for its operation, and the balance was divided by the 5 electoral districts, with each having for its identified project $7,000 United States dollars. This amount is still with the county authority. Carpentry Health Center Laboratory. It was agreed that the amount of $31,465.31 United States dollars allotted for legislative projects on a list be used for the construction of laboratory at the Carpentry Health Center. But the project could not start because this did not get the money due to shortfall in the 2018-2019 fiscal budget. Unfinished project. A unanimous decision was made during the 2018-2019 district sitting, mandating the district council to identify and do a comprehensive report on all unfinished projects in the district and submit seen at the 2018-2019 county sitting. At the county sitting, delegates agreed to launch investigation into all unfinished projects before taking any action. In this regard, additional work was done on the audit of the PMC on the Cotton Tree, Town Hall, and considered complete. So as a report, we are indebted to the contractor in the tune of $14,118.61 United States dollars. It was also reported by the PMC that full payment was made to the contractor by the past administration for the construction of the unification town hall, but the project is yet to be completed. Investigation is still being carried out. As for the ROS Scaffy Auditorium and the Baghdad Farm Police Station projects, my office wrote lists inquiring details of the contracts and payment, but we are yet to receive response. Recommendations. Fellow citizens, thanks and appreciation to all for adhering to our recommendations made during the first legislative report. We want to urge you to continue to abide by those recommendations and the new ones in this report. Let me remind you of Article 17 of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia, which states, all persons at all times in an orderly and peaceable manner should have the right to assemble and consult upon the common good, to instruct their representative to petition the government or other functionaries for the redress of grievances and to associate fully with other or refuse to associate in parties, trade union, and other organizations. In keeping with this article, I hereby recommend the following. 1. That citizens at all times attend core community meetings in district city. 2. That citizens or delegates opportune to attend community meetings, district and county setting should help in the dissemination of decision reach. 3. That citizens embark on self-help community projects that will eventually draw the attention of their lawmaker or national government. 4. That citizens use the office of the lawmaker for information and clarification and clarity in order to avoid speculation. And that citizens petition their lawmaker on issues of their interest and see a non-violent approach in having issues resolved. Conclusion. Fellow citizens, with God above, I want to commend all of us for the tireless effort that we have brought, for the tireless effort that has brought us this far. Our conviction to deliver is based on the implicit confidence we carry in taking our district from one level to the other. In this regard, let me reassure you of my office commitment to regularly report activities at the legislature, provide summary of legislative instrument passed in detail, my contribution towards reconciliation, infrastructures, health, education, personal gesture, sport, and other activities in and out of the district. Let me acknowledge the achievement made by the legislature during its second sitting. Special thanks go to our international and national partners. This includes Margibi Legislative Caucus, County Administration, Fiscal Liberia, Habel College, District 2 Development Council, Association of Fiscal Residents in Americas, and Mr. Leon Rwanda, President International Medical Project. Others are Ms. Jennifer Tuckman, Mr. Buster D. Jones, and Mr. Senior Cephas. I want to conclude by acknowledging all these gains made to the peace we enjoy as a country. In spite of the divergence of view, let me remind all of us that we owe a pledge of allegiance to our country. Therefore, in union strong, success is sure. We cannot fail. With God above, our right to prove we will overall prevail. May God bless you. May God bless District number 2. May God bless Margibi County. May God bless Liberia and save the states. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to your very young, smart, powerful lawmaker. Imagine easy to stand up and read like 44 pages. I thought it was very long. But I want to say this, what we've been fighting for. I mean, during those days, you don't have time for a lawmaker to come and give reports. Today, what we call democratic accountability. I want to pray that we have such a young person in the legislature to do more. And I want to encourage you, honorable lawmaker, that a couple of things I will try to see if we can pass. I want to make sure that you support the passage of the drug law. Drugs is taking over everything in our country, increasing the crime rate. We hope that in this new year, you will fight to get to make sure that we have the drug law passed. We fight to make sure that we can have a special account for the county senior development fund. So the money for county development will come directly to the county and the county can have control. Take it from the government budget and have an escrow account. We want your support on that. We want to make sure that we keep working with you, do more work to build the capacity of the district, development committee, so we know exactly how to do the work. Thank you so much and God bless you.
Let me first of all say thank you to Honorable Ivar for affording us the opportunity to have a copy of this report and to be a part of this report. As I sat down in my seat, I realized that we are proceeding somewhere. The fact that democracy is being practiced tells us that there is a way forward for us. In the land of democracy, everyone has rights to know what is happening to the money, the activities of the country, and as well as the district. Honorable Jones, I want to say thank you for this very continue to give us reports, and not only report, but to continue the development agendas that you have for this district. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all.
Let me just stand on the existing protocol to say all protocol was there. I want to say thank you so much, Honorable Jones, for putting together the 34 pages document. For the 34 pages document, I was able to see
the work done for the workers of Firestone on 2 pages. That is the retiree and out of the 35 dismissed workers. Now let me begin with the 35 dismissed workers. I know the effort applied, and I want you to apply more effort in finding solutions to that problem. We know 34, division 35, we have over 24 workers that were dismissed. As we speak, the matter is in is at court in Kakata. We're supposed to be going there to go through the matter. Again, we want to say to your honorable office, we want people to join us so we'll be able to find justice for those people who are now dismissed wrongly by Firestone. As we've been doing, please join us again financially and also with your connection so that we can be able to fight that battle. Lastly, the issue of the retirees, as you said, everybody listening, that it was not justified by legal means. Firestone have gone ahead doing it. As according to you, with all of the meeting you held, it was clearly put on the table that discussion was ongoing, but it was not finalized by legal means. So meaning that Firestone are taking action against our people wrongly. So again, we want, even though it is in court, but we as current workers, if the need arises, will be seeking interpretation of that portion of the document so that it will come to end. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for your effort. I want to thank you for whatever you have done for this district. We that make this particular decision, we are proud. It's not, we are not always regretting for the decision we made. We are proud of your decision. Thank you so much.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yes, I'm not going to say so much, only to tell the Honorable Afa Kukotun, thank you very much for the effort he is doing in the district. I like Margibi and I like the bureau. I thank him very much. Thank you very much, Honorable.
The action of Honorable June has clearly demonstrated a peaceful democratic practice where you will always report to your people. And that thing will continue with the challenges and the progress we make. Now I have 3 recommendations from the Anchor Grove Territory District where I serve as City Superintendent of Development. Honorable June, you are located at the Babifan Police Station. That project is being done by the legislative project for the former representative. And that's why when you ask the institution to give you report, they cannot get because it's not in their breath. So, and the proliferation of citizens in Babifan is huge. So we need that position to be completed and so that our people will be safe in that community. The second thing has to do with the issue of the college. That also runs so many consistent violation of the academic policy of our country. Today, he has still students who get to pronounce any provision that the student went against that brought the expulsion. Honorable representative, you need to look in that direction. Secondly, the post-secondary district need your president for the school coordination of the district and the country as well. Thank you, have a God bless you.
You left your business section to come here. For those of you that did not come and wanted to have come, we said thank you. You know today, Margibi is playing today. For those of you that volunteered, the president went to support his team. That's why you not see the also as you wanted to see. How can we want to say thank you for leaving all the talking about today? But this is one of the things that you think you can do today. That's why you're here. We say congratulations to you. This, our business has done, is in fulfillment of the Constitution. As our boss said from now, not many times you see more people doing this. When you will be elected, or you receive lawmaker to tell you his day-to-day activities at legislature, somebody told me he spoke for almost 3 hours. It's not something